Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Beyond the Summit presentation of the BTS Americas match between Complexity and eGamers, the Chilean team that made it through the Open qualifiers brought to you by Faceit. So it's going to be interesting to see how the kind of up-and-coming team that's really looking to make a name for themselves is able to go toe-to-toe with the team that actually qualified through the TI qualifiers. Now, eGamers did participate in those qualifiers as well, but they actually got knocked out by Team Unknown, who were the team that made it through the Open qualifiers. So, second place from the Open qualifiers for TI5 compared to Complexity, who are top-notch in the actual qualifier themselves. So we're going to be looking at this best of 3 series and expecting some big things from both sides. But thank you guys once again for tuning in here on this wonderful 4th of July evening. What a great time for BTS Americas to go on and for you guys to enjoy some NA Dota with us. But I'm not going out alone. I myself am Blaze, but tonight I'm going to be joined by none other than EGAD Cass. How's it going, man?
It's going good. It's been a long time since we cast together, and it's going to be fun to bring some more America's casting. And Complexity, they're undefeated this month. They are 10-0. So if they lose to this South American team, I'd be very shocked, honestly.
That being said, I've talked a little bit to the WAP, one of the players of eGamers, and they seem to have a pretty good head on their shoulders as far as how to approach this match. So, although it would be surprising, it would be a significant upset, I gotta have a little bit of heart for the underdog. I mean, these are the best players Chile can offer here, and you can't entirely write them off, although Complexity certainly are the more tested, more veteran team.
Yeah.
So, starting things off, we got the opener of Tusk for Complexity here. We're going to be seeing him perhaps in the off-lane role for Moon Meander. Of course, could be alternated to a supportive role if they really want to get aggressive, but it does rely a little bit more on kill momentum there. We're going to be seeing them ban out the Earthshaker and the Queen of Pain initially, so good reactive heroes that in particular are good against Tusk because they have good AoE spells. I mean, when you go in that snowball, you get 2 or 3 people inside it, and then you start getting chain stunned by a Shaker, you're pretty much setting your team up to lose. So demanding those heroes out before going for that Tusk to still enable that aggression and that good lockdown. But the response here for eGamers is pretty clear. WAP said they love the clockwork, so going to be taking that to the off lane, and they'll be giving Kirino Storm Spirit on the mid, which is just a overall great hero for taking advantage of overzealous positioning, really looking for opportunities to pick apart the enemy lineup. So it gives them a lot of potential, but picking it up this early gives a lot of room for counter picks.
Yeah, and Kirino actually is a Mexican player on the Chilean team, so that's cool. He's going to be playing from a little bit of a different area, and I gotta say, I'm enjoying seeing the variation in bans. I've been casting a lot of Chinese Dota lately, and one of the main combos they look for is a Leshrac Earthshaker, and seeing those two gone away, it's seeming to be that a lot of the American teams have been kind of picking it up, and the synergy between them is just too good. So we see Dazzle come out for Complexity, and what another great survival tool they're going to add to their team. They get the Snowball, and now they get the Grave, and Weave later on in the game is going to make Ziz's job a little bit easier too with that minus armor. And oh man, just Shallow Grave saves in general have been so good. And in this next phase of bans, I don't think we'll see an Axe ban, but if they are really worried about the counter potential, they could just ban the Axe anyway. But gotta say, solid picks so far from both sides.
Yeah, and of course Fly loves the Dazzle. He's been playing that so many times. We see it a lot through the TI5 qualifiers and in more recent games from him. Dazzle is one of his favorite heroes to play in the supportive role, and it's really good with the Tusk. You get the Snowball, you get 2 or 3 heroes right on top of somebody, and you Shadow Wave heal bomb them to just nuke them down that much faster. It gives you good potential to go for a right-click hard carry now. You can go for a gyrocopter, you can go for something that's more single target, but the Weave, no matter the case, will be amplifying that damage up and enabling more and more kills. So since you're up against kind of a hybrid damage type right now with Clockwork and Storm, a lot of magical damage coming out, you don't actually want to use the Weave on yourself so much as the opposition, and that's why I think they're going to be mostly focusing on heavy physical burst damage and just really bringing the pain when it comes to mid and late game team fights.
So at this point, I'm kind of thinking of what they want to ban, because a lot of mid-hate came out with the Queen of Pain, Lesh, and Shadow Fiend. So against the Storm Spirit, I'm wondering what Swindle's going to look to play. Actually, they banned the Gyro themselves too. So what's their plan for right? Do we get to see like a Sven and see some hyper crits with Max Weave? Get to see some 2,000 damage crits come out with some cleave?
Could go a lot of different ways with this. I've seen Naga Siren work really well with the Dazzle, because you get the weave on top of the song, and you get extra time to build that up, and then Riptide, negative armor as well. But yeah, banning out the Shadow Fiend, losing the Gyrocopter themselves, I mean, maybe you're opening it up for
they banned the Naga.
Well, I think that's smart. I think it's really smart, actually. Naga would have given them a lot of trouble. So, I mean, banning that out, as well as the Gyrocopter Shadow Fiend, like, it really does change how Complexity are going to have to look at this next stage in the draft here. I mean, they could still go for Slardar if they really want to go for that negative armor stack. Weaver was okay until the Skywrath came out. I think the Weaver was actually pretty good against Clockwork, because the way that Time-Lapse can work against the hookshot cogs. But now that you're up against the Skywrath, I think it's a much riskier pick.
That's interesting. I like the way these guys are picking this whole phase now. But we get to see what the cores are going to be for Complexity. Possibly could see another support come out for Fly, if anything. But I want to say this Tusk is going to be an off-lane roaming. And, oh boy, if they wanted to, do you think we can see Techies? I highly doubt it.
I don't see why not. I mean, Skywrath is such a low armor hero, you could kill him so quickly. But for now, they're going to be going for the Death Ball push strat. They're going to be going in and just kind of having 4 or 5 heroes all clumped up in one lane.
This is Drow.
When you look at Clockwork Storm and Skywrath, they're all about picking heroes off. They're about isolating targets and killing them off quickly. But if you're all grouped up as 4 or 5 death balling, then that's not going to be an issue, and you can really just ram down a single lane. And yeah, Drow would be perfect for that if they want to go that route.
10 seconds.
I can actually see eGamers X as well sniping away the Drow if they really wanted to. They do have a good composition for it, some good initiation, but they pick up the Bloodseeker a little bit more. I would say flavor of the month, I guess. Like, he's been on the up and up since some of the changes to him, and he works so damn well. Like, the Rupture lasting so long, it being pure damage, like, you can't BKB, anything like that. Snowball does do some good work against it, though, since you could delay it so long by putting yourself in the Snowball, and you also have Shallow Grave now to be able to run with it so you don't die. But either way, the Bloodseeker can get up to like 1,000 movement speed and just hound your ass down. So if he ever starts snowballing like crazy, this Bloodseeker could easily take over the game. There's a lot of low health target heroes already.
Yeah, I definitely like the Bloodseeker pick up here, especially like against the Dazzle. He's going to be able to Shallow Grave the target and keep him at 1 HP, but that's just it. Bloodseeker will still benefit from the Thirst the entire time that Shallow Grave is in play, and that means that he can just go on to the next target and bring that much more damage, that much more movement speed. So overall, I think this is a strong pick. It's going to be able to fight as soon as they need it to. It's not like this guy needs to farm 3 items before he comes online, and he goes with that gank mentality. So there could be a lot of kills going eGamer's way, and if they're able to transform that into push and into objectives, then they're going to be able to take an early lead. But Complexity Gaming picking up one of my favorite heroes in this metagame, especially in pubs, Bounty Hunter.
Did you see Esportal? Were you watching Esportal at all?
I watched a little bit of it, but I didn't get to see too much strength from the Gondar there. What happened?
It was, I believe it was Empires, and off of one fight, when they were behind like 5,000 gold, they ended up getting about a 7,000 gold swing just off of everybody getting tracked, and it was insane. It's such a good mechanic.
Track is such a beautiful spell, and that new Shuriken bounce is actually really amazing. Like, you essentially have an AoE damage nuke now on Bounty Hunter, because you're always going to get at least 2 people hit by the Shuriken. You just track, Shuriken something else. Oh, but more often, if you're laying the groundwork for the team fight early on, you're able to get a 3, 4, or 5-man bounce on that Shuriken, which is just sublime. And the gold momentum is going to allow them to break down towers. But the point that things become risky is if they start feeding that gold away. Right now, Complexity are going to have a tower advantage in the early game, and although they might not have a numerical kill advantage, they'll get more value because of the track. So with track gold and tower gold in their pockets, the biggest thing they have to do is avoid throwing a lead. They have to get heroes that are more survivable, are more capable of going into aggressive positions without risking their own lives. And the Pugna with Guardian Greaves is definitely one of those heroes. The Dazzle, really good at that. But if eGamers start picking up some kills, you could see some big items come out with the comeback mechanic. Right now, they're going to ban out the Broodmother on the side of Complexity, the Viper on the side of eGamers. Interesting to ban out the Brood when the Clockwork's already in play, but obviously there's reasons behind that. Right now, I'm looking more at a support pickup, though, unless the Bloodseeker jungles. There's your support. Skywrath, Undying going to be the support duo, and we'll see what Joe and Guayo can do with those. And that means we're going to be seeing safe lane Pain, Bloodseeker, and mid Carino Storm. But that Huskar, Huskar is another one of those Flavor of the Month heroes. He's definitely more popular now just because people know how to back him up really well.
Yeah,
but there
yeah.
is the risk here of the Bloodseeker. Bloodseeker does a lot of pure damage and potentially a lot of physical damage, and you have to keep that in mind. You have to be wary of Huskar getting brought down really quickly. Blade Mail also can cause him some issues if one of the three frontliners picks that item up. The good thing for him, of course, is that Dazzle is behind him. He's got the potential to just get shallow graved and then keep his damage coming out. So
If he also messes up an armlet toggle too, he can get really screwed over by that.
yeah. So the bottom line is Huskar is a great last pick, and he hasn't been totally countered by EGX's lineup, but the thing to keep in mind is that they have a very finite time period with which to win this game. Track will extend that a good 10 minutes, so I would give this team a 45-minute clock, and if they don't take at least a set of racks by like 40-some odd minutes, then they're going to be having some issues here. So we'll
I'd
see.
say less than 40. I'd say like 30.
Yeah, I would say 30 normally, but the Bounty Hunter track gives them a little bit more longevity, I would say.
Okay,
So
okay.
we'll see. We'll see. It depends on obviously how much comeback gold comes back into the enemy's hands, but we'll see some early movement here bottom lane, and Z-Freak actually opening up with Poor Man Shield Tangos as well as the wards from his supports. So they're going to invade this jungle pretty heavily, and we'll see if they can find anything. For now, everybody falling back and just going to have to clump up on the top bounty rune. Moon Meander, of course, has the option to snowball, but it's difficult to close in because if you look at it, they don't actually have any stuns. They have the Decrepify slow, they have the Poison Touch slow potentially, and then, of course, the Snowball initiating stun, but beyond that, they really don't have any way of locking their targets down, so they're more intimidating their opposition than anything else.
Just kind of run at you and scare him with face-to-face, but it's going to be a bit of a battle for this top rune. Maybe not, as WAP just drops some cogs. No way they can really stop this? Yeah, he just gets him.
Ooh,
against
nice
the
shards though.
Perfect.
He's actually going to be a first blood. Yeah, that is immense. Moon Meander just getting the perfect lockdown with those ice shards. And even though he does get the bounty rune, they get one for themselves on Swindlemelons, and the first blood does go to Moon Meander himself. So really good start for the side of complexity. And of course, like we were talking about, they want that momentum.
Oh, speaking of momentum, too, Z-Freak's going to try to snipe the courier if it does end up coming out.
Yeah, but looking at Karina's items, he has to know that there's no courier movement anytime soon. Karina's going to be wanting the courier first with his bottle, and yeah, he's got 400 gold to farm up there, so Bounty Hunter probably just going to focus on harassing from here on out.
Well, I can understand that because a lot of the Chinese teams do. Once the mid laners do get themselves that bounty rune, they ferry out a salve, but not this game. And, you know, he's just making his presence known, just getting some harass on Kirino and kind of paying back for the Skywrath Mage harass onto Swindle. And this game is interesting. They're setting up their lanes, a 1-2-2 kind of setup, a lot of prioritization in the mid. This Bloodseeker, excuse me, shouldn't have any trouble really farming up here. And also, Luminer's got to be a little careful. If he loses a bit of that HP, he could become very easy food for this Bloodseeker.
Yeah, they have a lockdown issue as well, though. Honestly, like unless the concussive shock is able to connect, the Moonmeander should be overall pretty safe in an aggressive position because they really can't punish positioning until the Bloodseeker hits 6. And as you can see from our perspective, the Skywrath is nowhere near the bottom lane. He's focusing on stacking for the Storm so Karina can go for that 2-0-4 build that allows him to clear and kind of get a boost of income.
Alright, and Z-Freak kind of doing the same thing, but not stacking. He's just staying in the lane, and look at that. The damage coming in. Kirino, I guess he just sat there and face tanked. He wanted to get that right click off very badly, but Pugna is just so strong in the lane, too. Once we see the ward come out, if he does end up prioritizing a few points with the ward early on in this game, it could be very big in terms of damage and mana drain. So we'll see how that goes. 2-minute runes. Got a bit of a pause request, but Z-Freak's on top of a regen. There's a bounty down bot, and Moonmander's not being pressured. It seems that he's able to actually get a lot of good soaking XP opposed to WAP, who is pretty much the same, staying safe.
Yeah. Joa is the support that can zone, is pretty much the bottom line in my mind.
Yeah.
The Undying really can't do much unless they're going for the kill. Like, he can harass a little bit, get a couple of decay stacks up on him, but unless they're really looking for blood, it's very unlikely they'll be able to just gradually harass Moonmeander, because he's got the Sav, Tangos, he's got the Mango regen. Like, he's pretty set here unless they go for like an all-in play against him, and right now like they know that the Skywrath has been sitting mid. So the courier has been used a little bit here. Karino did get a healing salve, which helped a lot when he got hit by that Decrepify and Nether Blast. And Skywrath also has some Sentry Worth. So now we're going to be looking for Bounty Hunter to perhaps become the Hunted if they're able to get back control of the detection aspect of the mid lane.
Let's see, he's still being very sneaky, honestly. I feel like he really wants to go for a courier snipe or something, but he's just not finding the timing or anything for it. And it's now WAP up top, maybe going to be his target. Could they look for a dive here? They do not have Grave, but they have the Shadow, Shadow Wave. Yeah, okay. Clockwork's a hard target with the Cogs. And down bot, actually, they forced the Snowball out of Moon Meander. He's going to drop the shards and should be A-okay. Alright.
Yep, just seeing 2 Decay stacks come out, as well as the Tombstone. The Concussive, though, not enough to lock him down, because, I mean, that Snowball is just really good for surviving and waiting things out, especially that slowing effect that Concussive would bring. So, all in all, a good escape from the Tusk. Does cost him a little bit in terms of tangos, but that's about it. And now we're going to see Swindle take full control of this mid lane with that Nether Ward. So, right now, the Huskar and the Pugna are both winning out their respective lanes, and this is just giving a lot of potential for complexity to start converging around like level 6 and 7.
Oh, WAP. Is he going to get dove? They're going to look for the right click? No, he doesn't have a Orb of Venom or anything like that, or Janata, so they can't really catch up to it. They get the Poison Touch, but that's about it. And they also force a TP out of Guayo, so they're kind of in a really funky spot right now.
Yeah. Very interesting here. Yeah, the lack of Orb of Venom or Janata means that you can't really punish the positioning, and obviously they're still going to be waiting for their level 6 with that life break to actually enable kills. Both teams really have a lot of potential damage and can't be manned up against necessarily, but in terms of actually closing distance and running down opponents, it's very, very difficult. There's not enough disable, but if they drop down like a Sentry here and the Concussive Shot, they could get some more damage into Z-Freak, but again, Carino doesn't have that stun. He wants to go for the farming build to emphasize the stacks that were made for him in the Radiant Jungle.
That was very scary for Joa, but alright. Almost level 6 is Swindle. They really delayed Kirino quite a bit. He's only at 4.5, and he's at least got a little bit of stackage to rely on, but it's only one. It's only one hard camp. So, is there a smoke coming out from Guayo and Joey? No. Maybe they're just gonna run at Swindle. I don't think he has any idea this is happening. He pops his illusion, and the concussion shot's gonna find the real one. There you go. And Swindle is more than likely dead. They drop the Tombstone, they get the right clicks, and that's gonna be eGamersX's first kill of the game.
Yeah, and they really needed that kill, but it was very well executed. Just knowing where their vision was lacking, finding the opportunity, and Swindle walking right into that one. So, very nice execution here from supports that you usually don't expect to roam very actively. Yeah. Undying, for example, is almost always glued to a lane. If he can rotate to save somebody, he will, but is otherwise pretty well stuck. This is a ganking Undying here before the 5-minute mark, which is impressive in of itself.
Well, finally level 2 Z-Freak. He managed to find some XP. He's almost level 3 too, so we'll see the Shuriken coming out. But you know what's happening? Pain's getting free farm. Ziz is getting some farm himself too. He's already level 5, almost level 6. And once you have that life break, like jumping onto any target becomes really easy. In the Clockwork, he can't cog the life break unless his timing's perfect, but it's gonna be tough.
Yep, so that's just going to allow Pain to go for a Hand of Midas. Pretty good option here. There's 2 builds you go for Bloodseeker for early momentum, and one is the Hand of Midas to just enhance that farm. You even get the Blood Rage heal when you kill off a big creep. But the other one is the Blade Mail. Both cheap items, pretty much in the same cost bracket, and both kind of allow you to do different things. The Blade Mail allows you to fight more actively, get in the thick of things, and just make sure that you're dealing enough damage to get that Thirst and potentially that Blood Rage heal up and active. But in this case, he goes for, since he's free farming, just goes for the early Midas, and we'll transition to some bigger items from there.
Swindle getting a little chased down. He got sealed up, but they choose not to commit because of the ward being in the trees. I don't know how Swindle got into that position to drop that ward, but it worked out in his favor. And now Joa getting chased down. We got Orb of Venom and Bright Clicks coming in from Z-Freak. With Janata, he's super slow. The seal isn't going to be enough. There's a zip coming in. Kirino does not have Vortex. They're going to just go for the trade instead. And all right, pretty aggressive play from Z-Freak there, but you know he ends up getting the 1-for-1.
Yeah, the 1-for-1 gives Bounty Hunter some experience he sorely needs. Of course, the Storm is pretty happy for that exchange, though, as well. Pretty even all around. The important thing to note is if that silence hadn't come through, it could have just been a quick kill onto the Skywrath, and the Bounty Hunter gets away. But because he silenced the Shuriken before it came out, Storm does get the rebuttal by him having to dive under the tower. So at least they get the exchange, but now Moon is going to be on the hunt, and I'm expecting some great opportunities from him with this Invis-Rune already up. He's already finding out Guayo. Just going to put some harassment damage into him, but he might not realize that the Decay is at level 2. That could be spammed out a little bit more heavily. Honestly, Guayo wasting a lot of mana there. Just dropping down to the Tombstone, that's not going to do much for him. And Moonmeander is still stalking his prey. Z-Freak and Moon want to go on to Guayo. They're going to find a perfect Ice Shards once again, and this will be Undying going down, misses the Decay against the Snowball, and that is a nice kill.
Yeah, stupidly well played by Moon, honestly. Like, baiting up the Tombstone, making him use all his mana, and then getting a perfect shard on top. But in mid, they're going to zip in, look for the kill on the Swindle. No, just force him back. Kirino may have understood his position now. Going to get flanked out a little bit here, though. Going to get slowed up. But are they going to choose to dive? No, there's a concussive shot that silence onto Moon as well. And, alright, they back off. I thought they were going to commit a little bit harder, but the support of TPs keeping their mid lane Kirino alive.
Yep. Up top, though, Huskar running on low HP with that armlet is able to take down the tier 1 pretty quickly. So the first tower of the game claimed by Complexity, as you would expect with this draft. And Guayo, as far out of position as you can get, honestly. Just not his game right now. And he is going to be finding himself in worse and worse positions as the game goes by because he's just going to be completely outmatched in terms of items. Undying is a hero that needs a little bit of momentum early on to get tanky so that he can actually wade into the fight instead of staying on the back line and only casting 1 or 2 spells. So the fact that he's sitting now only on boots and sticks as a 700 net worth hero just really doesn't bode well for his potential progression in this game.
He's just a hero you see with your mech, with your arcane boots and the greaves, and maybe even a Vanguard here and there, depending on how he wants to do it. But right now, like you said, bottom of the net worth, really suffering. Swindle with this freaking Netherward, man. It just explodes whenever Storm Spirit zips, but it does no damage. It just keeps throwing me off. But yeah, he's gonna try to go for it. Kirino, zip 2, going for the dive. Swindle, can he stay alive? Gets hit by the rocket flare, has the wand charges. He's gonna try to drain. He's gonna stay alive in this exchange for a little bit longer. The Shuriken to interrupt, but no, it's not gonna be enough. There's a hook shot of the Z-Freak. What a play from Wop. Z-Freak now being zoned away. Kirino, will he be able to TP out? No, he ends up dying to fly. And do they end up chasing out a Wop here? Wop's gonna be able to stroll himself out of there. Guayo caught in a position to run away from Ziz. He's got life break, but only level 1 boots, so I don't believe he's gonna be able to chase this one down. It's just the brown boot struggle, and the Undying is gonna be faster, but really well played by Swindle to delay his death so much longer there.
Yeah, I mean, there was a risk of him actually not going down at all, or at least getting the kill on the Storm Spirit easily. Moonmeander will actually go down here, tries to get the Rupture play on Tusk, but still just caught off guard by the burst damage Moon puts out with that Walrus Punch. So losing the Bloodseeker is actually a huge kill. But yeah, the Storm Spirit, I mean, that was a very close call there for him just going down outright. But the really nice hook shot and Cog's play kept him alive a little bit longer. In the end, they'll fly. Shadow Wave for the kill. I mean, that's a huge kill for Dazzle. Suddenly jumps up to nearly level 6, and he's going to get some really nice items for himself. He is going to get jumped, however, by Ice Kirino. Doesn't have any mana to work with here, and he'll just be killed off quickly. So some vengeance will burn him down. And yeah, overall, I like that EGX are still staying active. They now get the Soul Ring on the Storm. But I think that Death on the Bloodseeker sets them back a decent bit.
Oh, there's a lot of people towards bot lane right now. Swindle trying to push up. He's going to do a bit of damage there with the drain, sucking away about half of Pain's health. There's 3 members of CoL kind of grouped up here. Guayo off again. Such a good use of the shards from Moon right now. They even drop a Tombstone, but that's not going to matter as they just walk away from those little zombies. And that's only a level 2 Tombstone, I believe. Yeah, he's only level 4 still. So tough for Guayo right now. And Complexity's game plan, it's being executed pretty well. They're rotating around, trying to push some towers. Ziz is just farming in the jungle too with his armlet, and this is the effect Pugna has in the early game.
Yeah. Honestly, it just seems like it's so hard to draft against Complexity right now because they have so many heroes that they're really good at, and they still have some good variants on all of their players. Moonmeander's Tusk is starting to be something that you have to respect as perhaps a first ban, but we know how good Fly's Dazzle is, and neither of those are even heavy meta heroes. But we're going to hear the Rupture in mid. Huskar going to be taking a lot of damage here. He's trying to use the armlet to keep himself up, but just going to be brought down before the Dazzle can actually make his way there. Fly lacking the TP definitely costs him. In the meantime, though, Tusk will be caught out by Moonmeander. Quick Snowball Walrus Punch puts him in his place. And generally speaking, you don't want to be farming once this tower is already dead when Complexity are running such an active ganking lineup.
Well, oh boy. Moonmeander finding solo kills. The supports from EGX can't get a thing going for themselves right now. And Guayo probably is just going to die again. Snowball comes in. He's got the Walrus Punch. There you go. Dropping the Sigil. Joa respawning because his level's so low so quickly. And now Wop going to chase him with this. Do they actually catch up, though? The shards. Nice little block out there, but he kind of pinched himself in. He's going to look to turn around and stay alive for a bit with his wand, but there's a massive buildup of army of zombies, and yeah, there you go. finally goes down, and Guayo gets a kill. Okay.
Yep. So good follow through there. I mean, just him getting overzealous and the magic stick baiting in the tusk just a bit. We're going to see Huskar jump in though onto top lane. Wop going to be dropping down very quickly. In the fountain will be ticking very low, but it is him going to survive with the Burning Spear is actually only at level 2. Instead of the max build that you sometimes see. So in the meantime, Storm Spirit farms up a ton of golden experience. Now suddenly jumping up to 1530 current gold, and yeah, he's going to need to put that to use very, very quickly to get a handle back on this game. They're being pressured heavily in this tier 1 mid. Swindle, 1 or 2 Nether Blasts will bring this thing to fatal range, and there it is. No fortification even. They'll just lose the tower. And Storm's TP won't be successful. They will maybe get some gold out of the ward now. Decrepify makes that a nuisance more than anything, and yeah, they'll just kind of...
He denied it! Oh my god.
So they really can't get anything right now. I mean, the Bloodseeker doesn't want to fight until he farms up 1 more item, and Huskar... Tusk, they're happy to fight right now. And Moonmander's just picking up his mechanism here, going to turn them to Guardian Graves very shortly, and at that point, they can fight anywhere. Fly will go for the Shallow Grave, but can't TP. No item in his inventory, and of course inside the battery assault. But nice damage going against Carino, thanks to the ward is actually going to pull back the Storm Spirit, and this is a disengage rupture as they all fall back.
That was such an awkward fight. Like, great job by Fly, honestly, to stay alive by that. With that Shallow Grave, the heal, the wand. I believe he has, the wand, and then the drain coming in from Swindle, or more of a giving drain there to heal him back up. They really aren't giving EGX anything, but I'm looking at the net worth, and I'm really impressed with how Pain is farming up right now. Top of the net worth, 6,100, putting that Hand Midas to really good use. Has an Aquila too, and I feel like S&Y build is the way to go right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways you could look at it. BKB doesn't sound too bad, but it might be a little bit early for it in terms of your item progression. Like, the only hero that I see go Midas treads into BKB is like a Shadow Fiend, who really wants to get the ulti off. Bloodseeker might hold off and go for that SMY that you're talking about. For now, we're just going to see the Ogre Club and keep the mystery alive. But inside the pit, we're going to see this level 2 Sigil, slow down Roshan's attacks, and they're going to be able to bring this thing down pretty quickly. But there is going to be a Rocket Flare, and this could be a pretty big hook shot. Netherward has to come out pretty quickly. There's going to be a great hook shot onto Fly, locking him in. Netherward is now down, but the Tombstone is on the high ground. Guayo going down to the drain, but Swindlemelon's caught by the Rupture. We're going to see Pain drop down to a huge blast, and yeah, he's already out of the fight. Carino, without much mana, will be going down shortly thereafter. It's a triple kill for Swindle, and they're going to make it a quadra kill with the Clockwork going down to 2 or 3 of those kills were tracked, with the track very recently coming online, and suddenly a 2,100 net worth increase despite 2 of their deaths.
Well, that was hell of a fight, and also it was a huge blunder from CoL as Ziz was kind of stuck in the pit for a bit, dying to Roche. Roche managed to pick up the only kill there, I believe, so not bad at all. Even with a solidly positioned Tombstone, like, just nothing go EGX's way, and they also got the Rupture on the Swindle, but they couldn't chase him down. They just had no position to do so, so now Ziz returning back into the pit, going to be able to take this Roche, get himself an Aegis, and, I mean, at that point, they just push tier 2s, use the Pugna to their advantage, and just these supports from EGX are so broke.
Yeah.
He's got a value bracer for Guayo, and Joa only has an urn and some wards.
Yeah, that's all you can really do in this position as Undying. Guayo, Bracer Gaming, get a couple of Bracers, a Magic Wand, maybe even Power Treads for that 9 strength. You just need to survive longer in the fights. But I think the biggest aspect of that fight was how Swindlemelon was really just able to dig his feet in when he got ruptured. He says, okay, you want to rupture me? Come at me. Dropping down Nether Blast, keeping his life drain alive. You really need the Clockwork on top of the Pugna in order to get that life drain canceled out. Otherwise, you're just going to lose so much. Wop is going to be trying to disengage from Moonmeander. They got a nice little kill on the Dazzle, but now he gets caught by the Walrus Punch, and it looks like he'll be going down. As best he can to try to delay it, he gets snowballed, and Moon will just triumph in another kill. He is 5-1-6, suddenly finding a 16.5-minute Guardian Greaves, and that's just going to be allowing his team to push down all the tier 2 towers on the map.
Yeah, that's not good. It's not a worthwhile try, I'd have to say. But Aegis online. Swindle ready to push. He's almost got an Ags. Actually, he might. Oh, he actually does have the Ags. It's coming down on the courier, so.
Wow.
He's ready. He is super ready to go. This drain now has, I believe it's no cooldown, right?
Yeah, no cooldown whatsoever, and he's just able to keep spamming it out. If he has full HP, he also gets his mana back, so he can just keep on draining. Of course, that's a base component of the spell, but it's going to be more relevant here since it's so hard to actually focus him in these fights. He drops down the ward, and Karino's like, oh, well, I guess I can't do anything anymore. This is a tanky Pugna who just gets to walk away from all these situations, and now Complexity go on the hunt. Storm's out of mana, and they're ready to fight. It looks like they'll just go for the mid lane, though, and focus as a 5-man play.
Had Kirino stayed in there any longer, that would have just been an easy drain turn from Swindles into a kill. Like, it's just so insane how strong Pugna can actually be when drafted in a lineup like this. But all right, tier 2 push. Here we go. They're gonna get it underway, and they even have the centaur that's been dominated. So let that tank up a little bit, just heal up in the wave, and I don't see anything EGX can really do. The Bloodseeker is still ridiculously farmed. It's just, how can he get into these fights without a BKB? I honestly don't think he can. So he's got to wait. He's farming it up. The team is just going to decide to sit towards their tier 3 on the high grounds and wait. That's all they can do is wait.
So we see the tier 2 tower go down in mid, and we're going to see them push onto this high ground. They've got the armlet, they've got the plate mail. Suddenly Huskar sitting at 27 armor and happy
Max
for it.
weave.
And of course he can get decrepified if he ever is in jeopardy for physical damage. But yeah, we're just going to see them focus down this tower quickly. And in the meantime, a little bit of split push coming from Pain on top. He wants to take the tower and then TP home, mostly because he doesn't have any other choice. He's on cooldown for 10 seconds, TPing home. So we're going to see this tier 3 go down, and one more Nether Blast will put the racks in fatal range. Huskar dropping pretty quickly with the armlet, but he's going to use the Vitality to keep himself up, and that will allow him to stay alive long enough, bring the racks down to 450 HP, but not wanting to commit the Aegis until the big fight. So they'll pull it back a little bit. Now the weave is up on their own heroes, and they are ready to go. Here's going to be Clockwork completely annihilated. They get a decent ultimate from the Skywrath Mage, but it's not enough to kill anyone, and now they go on Karino with that snowball. Really nice jump there, but Storm Spirit just able to jump out at the last moment. Pain and Karino limping back to base to regen, but their base is in shambles. While they're huddling in and trying to heal up, they lose both the melee and range racks in the mid lane, and that is going to be Complexity walking away with their heads held high.
So that was a 3-man cog coming in from WAP. They dropped the Mystic Flare. The damage just spread up around everybody, so it doesn't do anything to anybody. The zip in from the storm did nothing. Like, jeez, this is looking like already like game 1 in Complexity's pocket. Like, they already just took down a Rax at 19.5 minutes, not too bad. Asia's still online too, and Ziz has almost got his AC. So this is snowballed insanely out of control now.
Yeah. I mean, the fact is, it was split among 3 heroes, and it only did a 400 damage nuke in total. Just some good mitigation. I think the Huskar was in that one, so just in general, they just can't seem to get enough damage to focus down a single target, and that's maybe the problem with Bloodseeker. He sets somebody in place so you can focus them down, but even when they're locked in place, it seems like there's just not enough damage because of how underfarmed EGX is. They're now at a 12,000 net worth disadvantage, and it's just so difficult to close in a single target, and even if you bring one person down to 1 HP, the grave is there.
Well, let's see, what can EGX do to come on back here? The Bloodseeker needs this BKB, which he actually
Wayo could feed a little bit less, I think. I don't know. This is he
dead.
doesn't get killed by the ice shards, but he'll be killed by just about everything else. Decay won't make him any more tanky, and he's gonna be going down with one more hit. So I think just avoiding pickoffs would be a better way of trying to at least delay the game to get the Midas into play, but at least they have now waited out the Aegis for better or for worse, and they do get the BKB on they do get the BKB on the Bloodseeker, but Moomiander cleans up another courier, and at this point they're just putting salt in the wounds. They are in such a good position in this game. Pugna picks up a soul booster, which you can turn into one of 2 amazing items for the hero, and from there they're just able to pretty much take high ground even without the Aegis.
Well, Complexity now pushing forward. Swindle Melons has himself his soul booster, maybe an Octarine core to come out for Swindle just to push a little bit faster. I highly doubt it.
Ooh, might catch out Moomiander here. This could be a good kill. I mean, finding out the hook shot is not going to happen without the cooldown, but they do get the rupture, hold him in place, and he will have to wait 4 seconds with Snowball. So we see TP coming in, Fly looking to grave Moomiander at the last second. They do get it off, so Moon is still alive. He is limping away, and it looks like he's going to survive thanks to the Guardian Graves. Carino comes in and finishes him off. Fly without a grave is going to be nuked down heavily. Track movement speed can only do so much. Fly will be picked off while the base is in jeopardy. We're going to see the jump of the Huskar onto the Huskar. Pain doing some good damage here. Armlet toggling and the heal coming in from Swindle Melons. Going to keep him alive, and CYZZ still fighting at very low HP. Losing a little bit to the decay, but it's going to be enough to get the tier 3 and walk away. So when it's all said and done, it's a 2-for-1 favoring EGX. Oh, ZYZZ gonna get a turnaround onto his opponent here. Carino still wants a piece of that action, and it looks like Wayo goes down once again. Swindle, with that 0-second cooldown life drain, can just continuously keep him as tanky as he needs to be. And they're looking to charge forward once again, get the track onto the storm, and just wait out the rupture here outside the base.
Swindle is a walking medic right now, just overcharging everybody.
Oh, nice combo, actually. They get the Blood Right at the exact same time as the Rocket Flare, and they make the Armlet Toggle useless.
Nice. Well played by them to at least get that kill, but their base is still exposed. The next set of racks possibly to go down is going to be this bot lane. And, I mean, things still haven't gotten any better. At least after that last kill, they got like 1,000 gold, but it's a 14,000 gold net worth lead for Complexity and about a 5k XP, but most of that is track. Like, I'd say half that gold, or a little bit less than half that gold, is probably track gold. So...
And they're just going to keep it up. I mean, they've got the Blink on Bounty. They can continue to control, get scouting, get a understanding of enemy's position, and then exploit that. But they do kind of have to tone it down a little bit, underestimate their opponents less, and go as 5. The big thing that was exploited there was Moomiander was by himself, and that's an easier pick for heroes like Storm and Clock. So once they got spread out and isolated, they started losing. They're going to have to go as 5 now that everybody's coming back, respawning, and have their big items like the AC.
Oh, Pain tracked up. He's going to be in for some pain himself. Here we go. Blinking in. Walrus Punch shards. He pops the BKB. The draining to try to keep Z-Freak alive, I believe. He's going to get hit by the Blood Right, though. And TPing out is going to be Moon with that Rupture. And they actually turned that around pretty nicely, but that is the second charge of the BKB going down. So Pain slowly losing that duration.
So what do you think about this game so far, man? I mean, we are looking at EGX really far behind, but they are benefiting a lot from the comeback gold. Is the comeback real, or Complexity just scrambling around a little bit before they slam the door shut?
I think Complexity's kind of scrambling around a little bit. With the AC picked up on the Huskar now, he's ready to go. Maybe finish his treads finally. I mean, he's sitting on brown boots for about 24 minutes now, so they need that. Maybe waiting for next Roche, too. That next Aegis could be really, really helpful. So we'll see. But there is a smoke picked up from Joa, and he's pinging. They're gonna go for a smoke gank. Oh, this is ballsy. This may be the last ditch effort. Who knows? But maybe another solo kill for Kiri now up top. No, he can't kill Swindle Melons. Never mind. They're more so prioritizing their efforts towards ZYZZ, towards bot. 3-man gank though is pretty risky without seeing anybody else on the map. And they're pinging it out. They know they're gonna send the Rocket Flare to scout. But if they run into Moomiander, this might be all over for them. They look for the hook shot. Do they go for Fly? They ping him, they see him. What do they want? Wop, his smoke breaks.
Oh, they initiate on the Fly, one of the better heroes to go on, but Huskar's just going to jump right in onto Joa here, getting nuked heavily, doesn't get the grave. They had a silence on Fly all the while, and they do break the Huskar down quickly. The big thing was Swindle wasn't there, wasn't ready. The zombies are now in pursuit. However, we're going to hear a Walrus Punch ring down the Skywrath, and that Frozen Sigil causing them some issues. Now the stun onto Moomiander. He'll go down after the snowball. Fly wants to grave it, but I'm not sure that's even an option here. He gets too far away. He will barely be able to keep himself alive before Carino and Pain chase him down. So they do lose the Tusk. Fly going for the TP. No stuns. They're actually going to let Dazzle slip away, and Pain is trying to kite away from Swindle, who just keeps on bringing the pain with that ultimate. Life Drain will catch on the Clockwork. Now looking at the Storm, and Z-Freak is right on top of him. Carino has 600 mana left and the Magic Wand, and it's going to be enough for him to get away. But although the fight goes back and forth, I think we're going to see similar gold values thanks to the track and the comeback gold mechanics. Yeah, 1395 favoring EGX, where 1064 heads the way of complexity. So because of track and because of the comeback mechanics, both teams profiting from that exchange. And I guess EGX that's probably the best fight they can get. The problem is they're still facing some major items. Swindle now with an Octarine core.
Well, Nether Blast is now on a 4.1 second cooldown, not too bad. And he's just ready to go. They're going to take this next Aegis, they're going to look to push, the Rocket player will scout it out, but it's too late. It's already gone. And I'm really impressed with how EGX played that last fight, but it just wasn't enough for them to win, sadly, or make that big comeback. But Joe with his Invis rune right now, looking for a potential kill on a Moon, who's still really tanky. He's got himself a point booster. Maybe we'll see an Ags come out and some Walrus kicks, but Hookshot comes in with the with the Rupture, and Moon is gonna die.
Yeah, another isolated kill against Smooth Meander. Really nice pickup there, and that's exactly what they need to stay in this game. So they will delay the push from complexity. They'll be waiting it out for a little bit longer for the Tusk to come back into play, and of course more gold will be in EGX's pocket. But what do they turn it into? We've got SMY, BKB on the Bloodseeker, and 1100 gold for him. Orchid and Bloodstone now on the Storm. So 11 charges for Bloodstone, trying to build momentum, trying to just focused on Dazzle mostly in the fights. If they get one silence from either Skywrath or Storm on the Dazzle and the other one on the Pugna, they have a really good shot at taking the fights. As we've seen already, that Bloodseeker and Clock can handle the Huskar if he's not being life drained. But we are going to see a nice little flank to gank here. Can they actually nuke down Storm, though? It looks like he's going to be able to just dodge away from this because they don't have any hard disable. They don't have any silence, and they don't have any big stuns.
Smart by Kirino. Now he knows that the Bloodseeker's right on top of him. He just keeps dropping the Remnants. And then, okay, there you go. Finally gets tracked up. Haste rune too. This would be a really good run for Ziz or for Moon. Moon has the bottle. And have you ever seen a Tusk game with an Ags in competitive Dota? I don't think I have ever.
I think I've seen it as a joke pickup once, but never as like an actual effectual one.
Okay, well, we might see Moon go for some blink backward kicks into the team. Some wonky mechanics that you can have with that. But they're looking to push up top. They have bottom exposed, but they want to clear out this last tier too. That's been giving them a little bit of trouble. So we'll see what the defense is going to be from EGX. Do they just let it fall? Do they try to fight it, or do they trade? Which seems they're going to be going for the trade with the tier 1 in mid lane. They're finally getting their second tier 1 of the game and splitting with Pain down bot. So maybe going to go for a 2-for-1.
So tier 2 going to be going down here, and we're going to be looking at them going right up to the high ground here, getting some nice Nether Blast, and now the AC Aura. They're going to be able to bring this tower down quickly unless the Clockwork makes a huge hook. He needs the Cogs to separate this fight, but he's going to go right on a fly, so going to be able to focus down on Dazzle a bit. The Grave canceled, animation canceled by the Battery Assault, but he still gets it off in the end. Huskar losing the Aegis early won't be a problem here as he wants to come back into this fight, but Pain is losing out his BKB, now down to 500 HP and heading home. Carino will be running on out, heading back to the fountain, and yeah, they do force the Aegis, but they lose 2 in the process. Now we're seeing the Tombstone broken down, and with that, perhaps EGX's hopes of coming back. We will see them losing their tier 3 top. Now the racks are going to be pressured, and Moomiander gets a great jump here onto Guayo. Again goes down before he can contribute much, and has to buy back instantly. Fly is not focused down hard enough, will not be going down before that Orchid expires, and therefore they will be able to go as 5 with nearly full HP up to the high ground and finishing this game. We see 2 lanes of racks in Complexity's advantage, and that pretty much signs the game off. I mean, we see them sealing their fate here. Karina going in, getting stunned by the snowball, and in the meantime, ZYZZ taking up all of this Mystic Flare. Just so good against all the magical damage, and with the AC, he's pretty tanky against physical. We will see Storm go down on the eastern side while the major fight happens still in the base, but in the end, it just seems like EGX are out of steam. They don't have enough to stick in this one. Joel will be going down, and the GG will be coming out. Complexity taking game 1 of their best of 3 here in the BTS Americas.
I gotta say, valiant effort from EGX. Like, the Bloodseeker, despite all the problems and such with the track goal and everything, he managed to stay on top of the net worth for quite some time. There is potential for EGX to make these games good and maybe even take one. So rough first start, but great draft by Complexity, great use of the Pugna, and yeah, that's going to be game 1, going over to Complexity.
Alright, so that's going to be wrapping up for game 1, but of course we've got potentially 2 more games coming up in this best of 3 series here between EGX and Complexity. So far, CoL, they went for the momentum lineup. We knew that they had to take the game a little bit earlier rather than later, and they certainly accomplished that with so many track kills paving their way, and of course that really niche Pugna Huskar combo. So looking for some more cool pocket strats coming from them in game number 2, but we'll see EGX maybe shifting things up a little bit to try to beat them out in this second game. So thanks once again for tuning in. If you enjoyed the commentary, look us up. I'm at Blaze Casting. He's at EGAD and we're going to be going into the second game here in just a few minutes. Thanks once again for tuning in to Beyond the Summit. See you guys soon for the next game.